they've always been a good team. They made a Sweet 16 run the same year we did. So we knew they're very dominant, especially in the post, and they just came at us and we didn't respond well to that.
When you say you weren't focused, was that something you noticed coming in, or is it just kind of a lack of energy throughout? Just what do you mean by that?
Lack of energy, and then just people normally not hitting the shots that they hit, so they kind of get down on themselves. So just taking a step into that direction, just overall, just lack of energy.
You mentioned them coming straight at you. You knew they were physical and everything. I mean, to send them to the line 25 times and you guys only go 8 times, just how much were the fouls and then the free throws that resulted just kind of a big part of this one?
Again, they were more aggressive, just taking it right to us, as you guys saw in the very beginning of the game, and just knowing that we weren't ourselves. We didn't retaliate back like we normally do, just being physical down on the block. Very uncharacteristic overall. Yeah, I would just say we weren't aggressive like they were. They wanted it more than us.
Brice, kind of a turnover-filled game. You all had 17, they had 19, but did you feel like you all turned the ball over too much?
Yes, I think at times we were rushed or just trying to make something happen out of something and just not being on the same page.
How did kind of everything you're talking about now, how does that help you kind of better prepare yourselves for Valley play in January?
Definitely watching film over this game, and then also the loss against Wake Forest. They're both kind of similar stat-wise, and just getting better, knowing that we have a little bit of break at home just to refresh our minds and focus on family. But coming back, knowing we have you and I back-to-back, so we just have to refocus and get to work and practice.
What's kind of the mood in the locker room after that? Because I mean, you guys don't lose often. You guys haven't lost UH Arena since Kelly was the coach. What was the mood in there?
We were definitely hard on ourselves. We know some people stepped up and said, I didn't perform this game, or I didn't show up. We know we were at fault. We definitely gave this game away, and just knowing that we're going to bounce back like we did last time and just continue to move forward from this loss.
And that's another thing about you guys. I mean, you guys respond well to losses. You did last year, of course, with a few of those, and you did after the Wake Forest game. Just what is it about you guys that you know that you guys are going to be able to bounce back?
Definitely just our team camaraderie. We all get together. We all know what everyone does best, and just knowing that we need to pick each other up, just give energy, just giving high fives, just making each other better in practice as well. Just continuing to fight and get better individually.
Brice, you all had it down to a 4-point game early in the fourth quarter. There was a lot of energy. I know Emily stepped up really big in that third quarter. Did you all feel like you had some momentum, and then what were they able to do to keep you from moving on from there?
Oh yes, of course. We definitely felt like we had momentum whenever we started pressing, but they're just an overall good team. You can't really double team their post players because they have sniper shooters. Just knowing that they have all the pieces put together and they're going to do well in their conference, and just knowing that we needed to execute one-on-one defense for this game.
I'm sure you guys watched Northern Iowa in film leading up to this because they beat South Dakota State. Just knowing that, how does that kind of make sure you know that you need to be really focused going into a game against a team that beat the team that just beat you guys?
Oh yeah, of course, just watching film and just taking away UNI's strengths, using the South Dakota State versus UNI game to see what they did best and what they didn't do well. Just really focusing on us and just focusing on our game plan for first of the year.
This is also going to be kind of your first experience with this weird system of playing a team back to back. Just what are your thoughts going into that and that system they've set up to play a team 2 days in a row?
Oh yeah, it's going to be very different, especially just knowing like our mindset is UNI is very hard to play, especially on the road at their place. They rarely lose like we do at home. So just knowing that we need to execute the game plan both nights, and it could be anyone's game because we could literally change our game plan 2 hours after we just played them. So just executing what our coaches put in and just continuing to play our game.
Just kind of what you see today.
It's a disappointing loss. Foul trouble, defensive breakdowns, not finishing layups, not making open shots. It's another game that mirrors Wake Forest where we've had like 20 plus more field goal attempts than them and lose the game. So we need people to step up and hit shots with confidence. We need our bigs to finish. We need our post defense to get better. We need to hit free throws. Yes, we've had some good games this year, but we haven't really played a complete game yet. And so, again, you need to be playing your best basketball in January or really February. So we have a lot to work on. We've been getting away with some things because of our talent and our style of play, but we have a big target on our back, and everybody is going to be gunning for us. And I think, South Dakota State's a team that's trying to gain some respect. They were in the top 25 about a week or two ago, and now they've beaten 3 top 25 teams this season. So they're a good team. They're a great team. But I believe if we had have played the way we should have played, then the score would be different.
Coach, kind of a turnover plagued game. I mean, you all had 17, they had 19. Did you feel that you all turned the ball over at some key points there?
Yeah, and it wasn't even just the number of turnovers. It was the kind of turnovers they were. They capitalized off them, even just in the first half. We had 10 turnovers, and they had 13 points off our turnovers. So our turnovers, they were key times, but they were also turned into points for them. We're a team that plays up tempo. We usually have a lot of transition points. Until Brice got us going in the third, I guess the middle of the third, we weren't really getting anything out of transition, and that's something that we count on. And they were getting a lot out of their transition. So 2 of the biggest keys today was our transition offense has to be clicking, and their transition, and then our transition defense has to be there. And both of those are consistent. So those are 2 big parts of the game. But like I said, there was a lot of breakdowns all over the place. And these kind of games, all week I was talking to our players about not checking out, because it's right before the break. People are ready to go home. There's been so much going on, with the pandemic, with everything. And it takes a lot of mental toughness to be able to focus and finish. And we didn't do that.
Coach, you mentioned kind of the similarities from this to the Wake Forest loss and just the energy level from the team. What's the difference in reaction from losing to Wake Forest when you have more non-conference games to kind of fix it, including that Lincoln game, versus now on a home court losing it heading into Valley play?
Well, I mean, 2 big things. We want to defend our home court. We don't ever want to lose at home. We were 15-0 last year, and we started out, obviously, Lincoln, so we've been 16-0. So that's disappointing, but, we can still finish that strong and not lose any more at home. But that is one of our goals for the season. So that goal is now not attainable. So that sucks. But also, it's a loss right before a break, and a long break, not just for them to go home, but just till our next competition. So, we have to sit with this. And sometimes that makes it a little bit harder. If we had a game in a couple days, then you can just get better and kind of get this out your system. But it's a pretty long break. And, similar to after our Wake Forest loss, that was a longer break. It was about a week, but this one's even longer. So it just is hard to deal with because, as a coach, this is going to be on my mind every day, until we play UNI. But our players are the same way. There was a lot of long faces. There was a lot of, emotion in the locker room because we know we let this one slip away. And like I tell them all the time, the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. And we have regret right now.
Coach, Emily really seemed to provide a spark there, especially in that third quarter, and you guys were able to get it down to 4 points early in the fourth quarter, but then just lost that momentum.
Yeah, I mean, she had a good little stretch there. We were just trying to get her to be physical and, let's take advantage of our size inside. I don't think we did that very well. I don't think we read the double teams very well. But Emily had a pretty good stretch there. I thought Trinity came in at the end of the first half and gave quality minutes. Brice got us going a little bit. But to me, there's hard for me to find a lot good out of that game. To be honest, the only good thing I see is that we out-rebounded them 41-37. Other than that, we got to work on some things.
You and Brice brought up the Wake Forest loss and just kind of that they were similar losses. Now that you have 2 of those on your resume right now, does that concern you going forward, or do you think this is just the type of team that can get over that?
No, our team is definitely going to bounce back. I have full confidence in that. I think we're still going to have a special year. Sometimes you get bumps in the road, and you got to get through that. You know, it's not a roadblock. The road isn't blocked off. We just hit a little bump. So we just got to fix some things and then get ready for conference. Conference is going to be competitive, and we start out with a really good UNI team right away who beat this team, you know, pretty convincingly. So I expect us to bounce back like we usually do, hit a little adversity, but we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
And Coach, you said there weren't a lot of positives from this game, but how do you think you guys can turn, you know, all of these negatives into positives then moving forward?
You just have to go back to the drawing board, fix a couple of things offensively, but we have to practice like we play, and that's what I constantly say. I say probably like the beginning of every practice. This week, this is kind of how we practice, and again, it's a time where kids are ready to check out and go home, and they were fighting that. I think they were, but we didn't really have the best practices leading up to today. So we got to practice how we play. We got to create that adversity in practice. You know, fix those mistakes in practice so that when we get under the lights, we're ready to go.